Joining us in the center ring is Brad Miller. Brad, break it down for us in plain English. What is the precinct-based election model, and why was it worth going to court over to protect?
Yeah, it was a huge win. This is a huge win for election integrity. And even the judge found that the precinct-based model that Pinal County uses has several distinct advantages over other systems. It helps distribute voters amongst polling places. The polling places are typically closer to people's residences. But really, the biggest thing is that it ensures that only the people that are allowed to vote actually do vote. And that's why there's a huge advantage.
Now, the judge said that the state exceeded its lawful authority. That's strong. Was this a mistake or an intentional power play by Adrian Fontes?
Yeah, I think it was an intentional power play by Adrian Fontes because he had been warned multiple times, and we had sent him letters essentially saying that you're violating state law by issuing this new elections procedures manual. And what he did is he decided to draft it and to implement it essentially in the middle of the night without notice to anybody. And then he sued us for not following and violating state law. And that's the biggest thing.
That is kind of crazy. Brad, how close did this come to changing how elections are run, not just in Pinal County, but across Arizona?
Yeah, and this is substantial. And I think this is part of a broader trend that we're starting to see in several blue states especially, is that they're trying to go to a cell phone-based or internet-based voting model where you don't even go to a voting center. But I really want to break this down of why this is such a huge seminal win for not only Pinal County, but the state of Arizona. What Adrian Fontes was attempting to do is create absolute chaos at our polling centers. So let me give you an analogy. Most people are familiar with going to Walmart or going to Target and seeing those handicapped or disabled parking spaces. Basically, what Adrian Fontes was trying to do is saying that there is only one parking space available at each of these voting centers, and everybody is required to use that one space. And then when the chaos ensues, long lines prevail, and that people can't vote or get very frustrated, a la what happened in the 2022 election in Maricopa County, then he can say, well, now we need to move on to a model that's more efficient. We need to go to a cell phone-based voting system. And there are several companies that have attempted to come into the county and discuss the online-based voting system, which we've wholly rejected. But that's kind of the direction of where he's trying to take the state.
That is absolutely terrifying. We have Pinal County Attorney Brad Miller in the center ring. Brad, you won this round. Is this settled, or do you expect an appeal or another attempt to push this through?
I don't know if Adrian Fontes will try it during this voting cycle. Obviously, we're in a midterm election. But my fear is that if for some reason he gets reelected, and I hope he doesn't, we're fully supporting Alex Collin. But if for some reason he does get reelected, I think he will try again. But we need to continue to fight. We need fighters out there that want to follow state law, and we certainly don't want to disenfranchise our voters. The important thing is this, is that the judge found as a ruling of law that what Adrian Fontes would do would actually threaten to disenfranchise disabled voters. And that's something that we don't want to do here in Pinal County or in any part of the state.
Well, does this ruling give other counties a roadmap to push back if the state tries something similar?
I really do think it does, because of the findings of fact, the conclusions of law, the people who testified. And essentially it puts Adrian Fontes back in his lane, saying you are to follow state law, and your authorities only come from state statute. You can't come in and take other authorities that are not yours. So it really kicked him back in his lane, told him where he needs to stay, and hopefully he stays in that particular lane.
Pinal County has had election issues in the past. Fair or not, that's the reputation. What's different now, and why should voters trust the system going forward?
Yeah, I think what's different now is that we often do checks to check our voter rolls. And during election season, I believe it's actually done daily. We have trained good election officials, but really it's that localized control with precinct-based voting. I remember the first time I voted in the 2000 election. I voted for George Bush. I went down to my local church and voted. That's the type of model that we still have in Pinal County that doesn't exist in a lot of places. And I think if we continue to maintain that model and continue to improve not only the training of election workers and some of the technology, that we will have the best run elections in the entire state of Arizona.
Pinal County Attorney Brad Miller, I want to thank you very much for weighing in, and congratulations.